everybody. This is Barry from the Brewed Palate. I'm here with Václav Berka, the Brewmaster of Pilsner Urquell, famous Czech Pilsner. So you just tell us a little about the history of the beer for those of us who don't really know much about the beer.
Hi everybody, but first we could say cheers.
Cheers.
Na zdraví. Barry, what's your question for me?
I love this beer. I always buy 6-packs of it all the time, but can you just tell us about the background of the beer, history of the brewery?
Yeah. I will start with me. I am brewmaster for more than 36 years. But already by studying, it's mean additional 9 years I work as a help brewer in brewery, because my father worked there and still third generation of Václav Berka worked for the company. And I brewed my first brew when I was 15-year-old young boy, and it was big proud for me to brew it. And decision about start my career exactly as a brewmaster was very simple, because all my relatives worked there. My father, my uncle, still my sister, and I never dreamed about to be a driver of tram or astronaut. My dream was to be a brewmaster, and it was fulfilled. And I started at Pilsner Urquell from basic position as a young technologist, and then step by step got continued to position brewmaster and head brewmaster. And now, because we recognize that the beer, which is excellent in brewery, is sometimes it's not so good on the market, we pushed more, and my main role is operate more the market and train the people to improve the quality to achieve this proper serving beer.
Right.
And this is never-ending process.
Well, I already see that compared to a lot of other quote-unquote Pilsners that we see on tap here in the States, this one actually has head retention, which most other, mass-produced lagers don't have. Now, from a homebrewing perspective, I know you guys take pride in the size hops that you use. So can you just talk a little bit about this? That you grow your own hops, and it really helps you control the process.
Yeah, it's very simple, because in this year 1842, when Joseph Grohl started brewing first brew, it was simple. He started with using Pilsner salt water, and we have 5 sources which are 100 meter deep. He started with using malt, which was producing our own malting plant. But what was happened? In this time, before year 1842, the beer which was produced in Bohemia was more darker and more cloudy.
Right.
And darker was because the malt in malting plant was dried on the open oven, open flame.
Right.
And it was a little bit smoky and a little bit burned.
Right.
And by installation new brewery in Pilsen, Martin Stansel, who was the civil engineer for this brewery, brought from UK, from Great Britain, new system for kilning, for drying this malt. And it was dried with not open flame, but with hot air. And it led to much more lighter color, and it was ground for this golden color. And because before was not refrigerator or artificial cooling systems, they started with digging long tunnels below the brewery.
Right.
We have there now more than 9 kilometers tunnels, where the beer was fermented and matured. And because the temperature was not low enough, there was temperature 5 to 6 degrees Celsius. We collect from the rivers and ponds around the city Pilsen through winter ice, and the volume of the ice was so huge to be enough for next winter. And to achieve proper temperature for maturation, we hold the beer by 0 or plus 1 degree Celsius. And for brewing, this first our brewmaster, which started brewing 5th of October 1842, start using only 3 ingredients. I already mentioned water and malt, and he started this using Salz hops as well, which is very famous malt, very famous hops, you know it.
Yeah.
It's noble hops, this very fine bitterness and very nice hoppy aroma. And we from this time to nowadays are using only these 3 ingredients. This is very simple for us. We only copied the recipe which was started by Joseph Groth. And you ask me about the process, about the brewing. We still use for brewing meshing system, no infusion like usually all brewers are using. We use meshing system, and especially for Pilsner Urquell, we do 3 meshes, because we are sure that exactly by meshing is create this taste and aroma of Pilsner Urquell. And because we do this meshing in copper kettle, which is heated with open flame, like by opening the brewery, this is leading to creation or a little bit caramelization of sugars coming from more on the wall of this copper kettle, and it creates this nice golden color. And if you try to smell it, a little bit caramel tones in aroma and in taste. You ask me about hopping. Hopping is of course secret of each brewmaster. I would only say you that we use only Salz hops, and we put it inside in more portion, not in one portion. We split it to achieve proper bitterness, but to achieve this noble aroma of Salz hop in the beer.
Right, so I mean, as a homebrewer, I know that mashing technique is called decoction. So I guess, a tip for you guys homebrewers out there, now you know that Pilsner Urquell, if you're brewing a clone, it's triple decocted. So if you want to take it upon yourself to do that, I myself use melanoidin malts, which kind of mimics the decoction, but that's one tip you could take it upon yourself if you are a brewer who brews lagers and has done a decoction that Pilsner Urquell is triple decocted. So if you want to extend your brew day a little bit, you could try that. So I guess one last question, I guess, before we get to looking at the actual pours, is that Pilsner Urquell to me has a very important part, in the American market, because most people know a Pilsner as Bud Light, a true Pilsner or Budweiser. Really, those are far from what a real Pilsner is, and I feel like that Pilsner Urquell's role is to show people that a Pilsner that is widely available not only in America but around the world tastes a lot different than what most people feel is a Pilsner. So
it's a very, very interesting moment because when we started with brewing of this beer, first name and later first trademark was Pilsner beer.
Right.
But because in Pilsen was a few years later built another breweries, and Czech brewers in other cities started copying the process because it was rocket start of this beer because of quality. Other breweries started copying not only the process, but sometimes they said we brewed in Pilsner style. And later, because of these breweries in Pilsen, they said to be Pilsner as well. Means Pilsner beer was not strong enough for protection of the brand. And it was reason why we renamed this beer for Pilsner Urquell, which means in German language Pilsner beer from original source. And other beers which name this beer Pilsner or Pilsner style beer are only copied. and it was foundation, I would say, the category of whole Pilsner style, which was sometimes modified to US way, sometimes modified to Australian way, to German way. But the basic beer, the mother and father of all Pilsners, are in city Pilsner, which is a city located in West Bohemia, in Czech. And because of name of the city, the name of the brand is Pilsner. And around the world, the consumption of beers last year was about 2 billion hectoliters.
Right.
And it's funny, is that on more than 2/3 somewhere is written Pilsner or Lager, which was beer which was born in the cellars of this our small city. And to ensure proper quality, we still continue with using same ingredients. Process is same, mashing, 3-mash decoction. Temperature for fermentation is very low. Period between start of brewing and open the barrel is about 5 weeks. Same like in time of Joseph Grow.
Right.
Analytical parameters are practically the same because I have analysis from year 1897, which was done in one Switzerland institute, and there are parameters which was measured in this time, and current analysis say that there are differences on the second point behind that. Means analysis is same, ingredients same. What was important, our owners has pushed the brewery to very strongly to be as modern as is possible technically. But the process was held in old style recipe. And nowadays, we have, I would say, more or less more modern brewery, but the recipe is original, like from this year 1842. And you can ask me how is it this taste of the beer. I drink this beer more than 40 years. Is enough or enough to confirm that the taste is the same? This is the question. But my father, who worked there for 1945, is confirming additional 30 years.
Right.
And third generation of Václav Berka working there from 1923 could add another more than 20 years. And we still have in our brewery team of old brewmasters, and average age of these brewmasters is more than 82.5 years. And they have a regular meeting within 2 months, and we prepare for these people samples of beer, and they confirm as well that the beer is the same.
I mean, so like to me that really like shows like the big American brewers who originally came from Germany, like Budweiser, they pride in their heritage, but I don't think that when they first came to America, they were brewing, you know, the adjunct lagers that they were brewing back in Germany, or even, you know, the first few batches in America weren't as dumbed down. So to me, like Pilsner Urquell brings to America, like you said, is the heritage that it's a good tasting beer, the quality is never compromised for anything, and that you do whatever you can to embrace that heritage and make sure that the beer is always tasting like it's supposed to.
The pushing on the quality is very important for us, and I already mentioned that we recognize that Pilsner Urquell, because of high content of residual extract, because it's very low ratio of fermented sugars. There is only 4.4 alcohol by volume.
Right.
There is higher portion of this residual extract, and because we add there higher portion of bitter compounds from salt hops.
Right.
So on one hand bitter, on second hand is sweet.
Yeah.
But all these compounds, bitter and sweet, are very sensitive for carry. It means if the beer is long-term stored in the beer is stored by a long and bad temperature.
Right.
If the beer is stored on sunlight. Every these steps are leading to taste changes. And this is the reason why we train the people on the market to care about the beer so properly, to ensure that the taste will be like when the beer is leaving brewery.
Yeah.
Because each brewmaster could confirm you that the beer is best in the source of the brewery, and then is slowly more and less damaged. And our role is to achieve that all these people behind the bar will care about the beer so properly. Because we say in Czech, brewmaster brew the beer, but bartender makes it. Means we do in brewery only half of the job.
Yeah.
Second half is in hand of bartender, who could increase the beer when it's served with proper head, in clean glass, in cool glass, and serve with smile and with facing the logo to your eyes. And if the people say "Na zdraví," there is no way, and the consumer could or should take a glass and drink the beer and say "Na zdraví."
Just
Cheers.
yeah.